Hey loves, it's Chellbee. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time finding me, hello. I'm so glad you found me. Today I am going to be giving you my go-to hacks for studying the Bible. Yes, I do have hacks for studying the Bible. As a new Christian, there are so many things that I'm discovering in my walk with Jesus, and one of the most important things has been studying the Bible on my own time. Make sure you make it a routine, make it a part of your day. So if you know that you have to be to work at 8, then make sure before you get dressed you read the Bible beforehand, so that it's done. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about missing an opportunity to do it. Woo. You don't have to worry about my nose is itching, missing an opportunity to do it. So dedicate and decide on a time and stick with it. My second tip is read a book and not a verse. And what I mean by that is choose a book in the Bible that you're interested in reading, and read the entire book from beginning to end. Don't skip around, don't go to different books in the Bible. Just read one book at a time. That's the best way to get an understanding of what you're reading. Best thing I can compare it to is when you're reading a novel. When I read Girl on a Train, I didn't go from chapter 1 to chapter 10 to chapter 15. I didn't skip around from chapter to chapter reading different paragraphs. You know what I mean? I read it from the beginning to the end. And although you don't have to read the Bible from beginning to end, you can read it book by book. So most people don't want to read it from Genesis to Revelations, and I understand that. So find a book that you're interested in and start there. That's my number one recommendation. It's great to draw inspiration, motivation, upliftment, encouragement from different verses in the Bible. I think that's amazing. But you can't read the Bible or study the Bible or gain an understanding of the Bible by hopping around. Have a system in place that you can easily identify what you read, as far as things you want to remember, things you want to go back to and find out more about, things you want to define. Have a system in place for those things so that you can easily find them in your book. And one of the most important reasons I found to have that system in place is let's say I'm reading Revelations in particular, because it can be a little difficult at times to understand because it gets a little poetic to me. Say I'm reading Revelations and there's something that I read and I'm just not sure exactly what it means, and I want to talk about it at church, or I want to talk about it with my mother-in-law who's a minister. Yes, my mother-in-law is a minister. Or I want to talk about it, with someone to get a better understanding or to get somebody else's perspective on it. The easiest way for me to do that and to know what areas I had questions about, or I want to talk more about, or I want to memorize, is by having that system in place. So for me, that has been so important in my reading. And it also allows me to go back, to Matthew, for example. It allows me to go back and see what areas I have for ideas for my next reading. So some of the things that I highlighted in Matthew's was how I decided that I was going to read John next. So definitely find a system. Whatever you decide to use, write it down, okay? Don't try to memorize, what you did for what. Write it down, use your highlighter or your pen, whatever you're going to use to mark it in the Bible itself. Write it down, stick it in your Bible. Yes, this is my Bible. Stick it inside of your Bible with whatever part you're reading in, and put it in there so that you can reference it while you're reading and make sure you are mapping accordingly. Because there were points and times where I tried not writing it down and I ended up using the wrong symbols. Yes, I did. I ended up using the wrong symbols. So whatever you're going to do, whatever system you go with, make sure you write it down and you have it in front of your face, so that way you can stay consistent with your marking. Because the last thing you want to do is have some part circled that you really want to memorize, and you think later that you're supposed to be defining it. It'll just be confusing, and it'll make the whole thing not helpful at all. So write down, like create a little legend. You can do it on like a sticky note. You can do it on a note card like I had. Where is my note card? Now I lost it that fast. Yeah, that really happened. I lost my note card. Okay. You can do it on a note card. Whatever system you're gonna use. Sorry, I'm waving stuff around with my nerves. Whatever system you're gonna use, though, write it down. Whether it be a note card, sticky note, it's probably better to put it on like a note card or a bookmark type situation. Because if you put it on a sticky note and you're pulling it off and sticking it, you know, over and over again, it's not gonna be adhesive anymore. So probably I would recommend a note card or a bookmark. But whatever you do, write it down, keep it in your face while you're reading so you can be consistent with your marking. So that way, when you're at a place where you can talk to people about it or ask the spiritual advisor about it, you know exactly what part you had questions about, what you wanted to discuss further with someone. So make sure you have a legend for your verse mapping or your system that you're using to read the Bible. That is tip number 3. Tip number 4 is to write it down. So after you're done reading whatever chapter you're going to read in the Bible, write down any notes you have, write down your thoughts, your prayers. Writing it down is so powerful. And I've talked about this on Chellbee.com, and I've also talked about it in my book. But I call it, and some people call it Bible journaling. It's so powerful. It is like a really good way for you to study the Bible and to really reflect on what you read. It just makes it to where you're not just simply reading the Bible just to say you read. You know what I'm saying? You actually have to sit down and really think about it, answer some questions about what you read. And it's kind of like, to me, I consider it to be like an accountability tool at points, because for me, because I am like semi-OCD, I don't like seeing any point in here where I have missed a day of journaling. Like that disturbs me. So it keeps me accountable for reading it every day, so that I do have something to journal every day. So that's what this is. That's what part of it is. I'm not going to go into the whole spill about everything that's in here. But part of the Faith Journal has the Bible Journal section in here for you to use after you're done reading the Bible. And so I would say that is really, really important. Writing down what you read, whether you get the Faith Journal or whether you use, a notebook. Writing down what you read is very powerful. It helps you dissect what you read. It helps you get a better understanding of what you read. And it also helps you with memorizing what you read. So that was my 4 tips for reading the Bible. I hope it was helpful, you guys. Like I said before, I'm definitely going to leave the link to how you can Bible journal so you guys can look at that if you need some additional help. If you have any questions or any tips for us for how we can study the Bible, definitely leave them in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Any help it's great help. We all appreciate a little bit of assistance sometimes, or all the time. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I can't wait to talk to you guys again next Thursday. In the meantime, in between time, you can catch me at I Am Chellbee on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Periscope. And you can also catch me on my podcast along with the blog, right? That's so many places. How can you miss me? Anyways, I'm going to see you guys next Thursday. Have a great weekend and be safe. Stay blessed. Bye.